Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Stamp Cat Stamps. Today I'm back with another Mail Day episode showing you viewer mail that I've received. I'm quite a bit behind. Things have just been getting a little bit more busy for me in my personal life and also at work. I haven't had as much time to spend on stamps as I prefer, but I found some time today. So the mail I will be showing you is actually from the month of January. So this first letter is from Reg in Quebec City. And look at this nice envelope with all the stamps he put on. This is like dealer level. We have a very well protected couple of envelope covers here. So Reg wrote a little note. Hi Kat, I really enjoy your YouTube videos and appreciate the work and research put into it. Bravo and best regards, Reg. P.S. These covers were sent to BNAPEX, BNAPEX, which is the British North American Philatelic Society, virtual participants that answered their online survey. Thank you, Reg. So here's the one, and it actually has on the cover John McCrae and the stamp that I talked about in the Remembrance Day episode. And it encourages everyone to come to, I don't know how to say this, BNAPEX 2022, which is hosted in Calgary. So if you're in the area, it definitely sounds like a good convention to check out. Inside was another cover. This is pretty neat. So I guess if you are a member and you voted, then you get this kind of like souvenir cover here. And then a special cancellation here for the BNAPEX, BNAPEX. So thank you, Reg. These are some really nice covers. I definitely will put the John McCrae one with my other stamps and postcards that I got from his house. The next one is, it's actually a letter from one of my good friends. So this is from my friend Sarah, who lives in Winnipeg. So when I went to Winnipeg, I was actually going to visit her instead of only going to see all those sites for extreme philately. So Sarah actually passed this letter along to her mom, who was going to Hong Kong. What I really like is this special pictorial cancel on it. I was surprised to get that. It is showing an old post office in Hong Kong that unfortunately I think they tore it down, but that was really exciting. I really like the pictorial cancels. I think they're quite unique. So for the next mail, I have quite a few people who sent me multiple things. First, I have some postcards and letter from Sarhan, who is in Singapore. So this is one of the postcards that I got. It's so beautiful. So it has these Bougainvillea flowers, but it's kind of like gold and metallic. And then nice little Singapore stamp image on the postcard too. And then there's the stamps. Sarhan has an Instagram as well. Write that in a link below. And then he sent me another postcard that I got in January. So these beautiful flowers here. And then again, the Singapore stamps. And then he actually also sent me a letter with some stamps. I really love these stamps that came on the envelope. There's a few here that catch my eye. First is this nice, look at Singapore's Year of the Tiger stamp. I love that with the little baby tigers as well. And then this stamp, which shows maps on stamps. That's really neat. And then here, it's kind of hard to see in the video, but the red parts are metallic as well. So it has like some confetti and that Singapore logo as well. It's kind of shiny or holographic, which is really neat. Sarhan wrote a letter as well. I won't read you the whole thing, but I'll answer a few questions on here. What made me have an interest in stamp collecting at first? And what was my impression? So actually what got me into stamp collecting was my dad. So my dad's been a long-time collector. One day during the pandemic, I went over to their house and they were renovating his office, and his old stamp albums were just kind of like spread out over on the table. Wow, Dad, the renovation looks great.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, what are those books in there?
Oh, those are my stamp albums. It's been years since I've looked in those.
And I started looking through them and I thought they were really cool. And then that's what got me interested. So after seeing his lovely stamps, I went home and thought, you know, I want to start my own stamp collection. And since then it's kind of spiraled out of control. I have so many stamps now. Sarhan also writes, what stamps do I collect? Like buildings, animals, mountains, landscapes. I still haven't really narrowed it down. I'm actually pretty jealous of people who know what they're collecting because I'm still very unfocused even though it's been a year. I guess I find myself gravitating more to keywords landscapes or historic sites if I had to pick one. I like the imagery and kind of learning more about these sites and locations, but I still like animals, obviously. I love cats, hence the name Stamp Cat, and I'm still very broad in my topics of stamp collecting. I haven't really narrowed it down very well. Sarhan also sent me some stamps from Singapore, which I will show here. Thank you so much for these. I don't have any stamps really from Singapore. I think I had like 2 and they were all a lot older. So these are awesome. I really love the merlion. It's so cool. It just shows all these different cultural aspects of Singapore. They have some different occupations and food. Thank you so much, Sarhan, and for the postcards too. Up next, I have some mail from, I want to call you Adelong, but from France, so it's probably Adelong. Adelong has sent me a few postcards. He was in Martinique. These are really neat. So here is the one postcard. So it shows some landscape pictures of Martinique, but then also it's see-through. So there's a little hole and that's the shape of the island. Here are the stamps from there. Very cool. And then a second postcard which shows the map itself of Martinique. Thank you for that. Those are very beautiful. And Adeline also sent me a few envelope covers too. So here's another one. This one is neat because it includes the whole souvenir sheet. So this is actually the stamp right here. This is a stamp. And then he just stuck the whole souvenir sheet on here, which is really neat. He sent me some sugarcane from Martinique. I don't know if you're allowed to be sending undeclared food through the mail, but sugar's probably fine. A little taste of Martinique. And he also sent me another envelope, a couple of post boxes there on the stamps, which are pretty. And then in this envelope, he had also sent me a variety of stamps from France, and I love these. They're so cool. First of all, we have a set here showing cows, but more importantly, cows facing left. This is kind of my joke topical. When I heard of this topical, I thought, how could there possibly be that many stamps of cows specifically facing left? But there are, as well as some other animals. And then this stamp caught my eye because it says Canada on it. It says a picture of no man's land in Canada. And this set is actually from pictures from a French astronaut while he's in orbit, which is super cool. So we also have landscapes, and what I like is some of these France stamps are showing landscapes from around the world. France really has a beautiful variety of stamps, some very classic, gorgeous stamps that look engraved. I'm always very impressed by the artwork on French stamps. We have some cartoon stamps from France, and some really unique stamps. So this one has Braille actually on it, embedded into the stamp, which is super cool. This stamp is shaped like a chocolate bar, which is amazing, and this one's shaped like a heart. And then these two stamps I think are so interesting. So they were a part of like an online game that you could play. You could actually scratch that off and there was a code, and you could go online to a website and type in the code and possibly win something like an iPhone or some pretty desirable prizes. It doesn't work now because the game has ended, but I think that's such a fun idea. I wish other countries could do that too. Anything like interactive like that, where if you get a stamp you can like go online and enter to win something. I think that just adds a whole nother aspect of like fun to stamp collecting, or like to the process of buying stamps and getting mail. Good job, France. And thank you, Adeline. I love these so much. They're really diverse and really neat. And Adeline also wanted to congratulate me on the YouTube channel and that he's been learning more about Canada, Vietnam, and Winnie the Pooh from watching my videos. Have a nice day and good research. Thank you so much. And Adeline also has a Instagram where he shows his like stamp adventures, I guess. So like travels to different places, different post boxes, stamps from his collection, which I will link below and also put his handle on the screen here. And then in addition to all of this, he also sent me an entire sheet of some of France's current definitives with the Mayon on it. And at first I didn't know what to do with this sheet. Should I, you know, rip it up and then use it for like swapping with other people, or should I just put this entire huge sheet just like in my album? But then I had an idea. I decided to try for the first time making stamp art, and here's what I made from his sheet of the yellow Mariannes. So of course you all know that I love Pokemon. I've always wanted to try making stamp art, but I just never knew like what to do. So what I did was just use an X-Acto knife to cut out the silhouette of Pikachu, and then it's just kind of like floating on top of the sheet. So the sheet's not damaged, it's still under there. And I went to a lot of work to try to cut it out carefully all in one piece. And then if I ever feel like it, I can switch it up if I want it. So I could have that on the front if I wanted to show more of the yellow stamp. So I'm so happy with how it turned out. I love this thing. I'm gonna have to find a nice place to put it. Thank you so much, Adelong. I don't think either of us knew what was gonna become of these yellow Mariannes, but they are perfect for Pikachu stamp art. And then finally, I got another mail from a viewer in the Philippines. This is a letter from Grace, and I was so excited to get this envelope with these stamps from Philippines. In addition to these beautiful shell stamps, there are 3 huge stamp-on stamps on here, and that's actually my dad's topical. So since there's 3 on here, I'll be able to give one to him, which he will be very happy about. And this is quite a stamp-on stamp. There are like infinity stamps on here. 3 and then a ton more fading off into the background. And it's from 2016, so fairly recent, that stamp. Grace sent me so much stuff in a nice package. I'm always so excited opening these. It's like a goodie bag. And then Grace actually sent me a couple of letters, which I actually love this. So originally she had prepared some things and then got busy and then added a few more things to send later, and I love that because I'm a lot like that too. I don't know why it takes me so long to mail something. I don't know, maybe it's a Filipino thing, but Grace, no problem. I actually appreciate this. I feel less stressed knowing I'm not the only one who takes forever to send their mail. Grace writes, "Greetings from Philippines. I really love your channel. It's refreshing. I love your enthusiasm, editing, and research on your subjects are superb. I'm really happy there's another channel in YouTube I can look forward to watch. It's really cool that you're the sole female among YouTube channels on philately that I subscribe to." Aw, thanks, Grace. Grace tells me a little bit about herself and her stamp collecting interests. She says, "When I was 8 years old, my eldest sister had shown me her stamp album. I was fascinated with the colorful small pieces of paper with exotic names. I was hooked with stamps ever since then. I begged, pestered really, my ate, which is what they call the eldest sister in Tagalog, to give me her stamp album, and she relented after several months." That's so cute. So Grace has sent me some of her duplicate Philippine stamps, as well as a few from other countries, and also an old postcard with a picture of the Mayon volcano. It's famous for its almost perfect cone, and it's the iconic landmark of her province. She says, "I hope you'll like the stamps I've sent, and thank you for finding time to read my long letter, and I'm looking forward eagerly awaiting your new uploads on YouTube. More power to you. With regards, Grace." Oh, thank you so much, Grace. Grace also sent me a few things made locally from her area. So there's a planner and a Christmas card, and these are made from recycled paper. So here's the planner for 2022. It's kind of backwards here, but... And then Christmas card. So this is, remember, this is all my mail from January. Maligayang Pasko, which is how we say Merry Christmas in Tagalog. And this is a vintage postcard that actually it was owned by her dad, she says, showing the Mayon volcano. So in her area, when you look to the sky, this is what you see in the skyline there. Super beautiful. And I'll show you in this next clip the stamps that Grace sent me. So lots of different stamps here from Philippines and also some stamps from other countries, which are nice. And then these last few show tourism spots in the Philippines, and including these stamps that also show the Mayon volcano. Thank you so much, Grace. I always love getting mail from the Philippines because it connects me a little bit more to my heritage, even though I don't know as much about it as I should. I love the stamps and I love hearing about how other people got interested in collecting and what kind of things they like to collect, and just hearing a little bit more about, you know, where you live and where you come from, what it's like. I think this is really interesting to learn about, so thank you. So that's all of the mail that I wanted to share from back in January. Sorry if you've sent me some more things. I do probably have them, but I'm just running too far behind to go over it in this video. Thank you so much to everybody who sent me something so far. I really appreciate your kind comments and the mail that you send, the stamps, the postcards, and so kind that you guys would just choose to send a stranger like me something from across the world. So thank you all very, very much. That's it for today's episode. Hopefully you enjoyed looking at my mail as much as I did. As always, stay safe and stay curious.